What is up, ScarKnight, bringing you Let's Play Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. In the last episode, freedom was, or I should say, justice was made. I guess freedom was made too, because the cow Bessie was being discriminated on when we went to Chicago, and we saw that the cow was in jail. But then when we returned to Lon Lon Ranch, and Milan kind of gave it to us as a prize. It's probably not the same cow, but I like to think that it is. Either way though, another reason we went to Chicago was to get ourselves the hook shot that is in our left yellow button to access the temple, what we're gonna do in this episode, which is the Forest Temple. And we noticed that, like, even though we played the Saria song and in front of Mido no less, she said she was in the Forest Temple and memories I can't talk today. Memories arose when we arrived here and we realized that she's like not here. And I kind of wonder what Saria looks like nowadays. And come to think of it, Mido looks the same. The years hasn't been kind to him. He looks actually almost exactly the same. A bit suspicious, but nonetheless. The way the hook shot works, by the way, it could hook onto treasure chests, torches, certain trees. It could also hook on certain climbable vines, and it also goes onto the targets that are meant for other people. Uses the hook shot mentioned. So here's an example of it. Whenever you see the red target, it will, you know, be reachable, but as soon as you reach something, like, you can see that the difference of the little laser pointer, but it will go out of reach at some point once you keep on scaling. So yeah, see, so like I mentioned, it could hook onto trees, just not all trees, but that's an example right there. And I said climbable vines, so it won't work on here, and it will deflect on other things as well. So here's some more vines. You can't hook onto those though. And I think there's like a glitch as soon as you like go through. Well, if you jump far enough, it just makes you go all the way through the wall. So I'm gonna try to do this to the best of my ability to show off and showcase the Farore's Wind, but I don't think it's best to really highlight it in this temple, because in other temples you'll really show how to really use Farore's Wind to the best of your ability. And just in case you don't know how to use the Farore's Wind, pretty much it's a warp point that works as soon as you enter through the door, the last door that you enter through, as soon as you use Farore's Wind. So like, for example, if I go through that door and I come back out and use Farore's Wind, it'll use it on that specific door rather than the entranceway right here. So so here's two Wolfos, and we'll show what happens in this specific temple, because there's usually a gimmick here. And not only that, the first three dungeons there has been a map and a compass, and that's about it. But from here on out, we'll be using keys and boss keys from now on. So these are the climbable vines I've been talking about. We'll see how out of range they'll get, but I don't think every climbable vine's like this that you can use a hook shot on. I could be wrong on that, but that's just another example of that as well. So there's actually 5 gold Skulltulas in this temple as well, so there's actually one of them right here. And hopefully we'll be able to do everything I need to for this temple, because I practiced this before, every time I do this, it kind of takes me an hour long, because I'm like trying to explain everything, you know. So I'm gonna go hop over right here, even though I could show off this treasure chest, as I mentioned, could also be hook shotable. So you can do that as well. And in this temple, I'm going to be collecting nothing but keys for the first couple times. That's what I'm going to be focusing on. But here's an example of it. There's a small key. And that's going to be from now on. Okay, so that's what you're going to do, alright? Yeah, pretty much. I mean, there is the keys instant where when you played that treasure box minigame, but that's besides the point. this is our real introduction to keys because it's optional. You know, you don't have to go there. But this is the real gimmick of this temple right here. So, as soon as you enter the door, you'll see the 4 torches in the center and the elevator that relies on it, because without the fire, the elevator goes down. So, all the separate fires are captured by these post sisters, and they'll be going to separate directions, and we'll have to find them all to get the fire back, to get the elevator, because it's okay to say this, because the boss is down underneath that elevator, and that's pretty much the gimmick of this temple. Now, again, I'm going to be focusing on keys, because that's what I would like to focus on. There's only like one door that I don't really, that I could live without a key, pretty much. That makes no sense in my head, but here's another gold scutula right here. Here's 2 out of the 5. Pretty much what I meant to say is, like, there's only one instance where there's a locked door and it's okay to not have a key for it. Because all the other ones, if you don't have a key for it, chances are you're not gonna, you probably missed out on the key is what I'm saying. But here's the door right here, and this is one of the real enemies in the game that are actually pretty strong. Oh jeez.
Stop foes, lure close to you and watch his movements carefully. Attack it when it drops his guard.
These are actually pretty good enemies that fight just like you, and they try to do the overhead shots to go over your blocking moves. And if they're at some point you'll see that if they're close enough, see, even I'm guarding and it's still attacking me anyway, and it jumps really high. But usually the case is if you kill a Stalfos and it's damn it. And if you take too long, the Stalfos would actually resurrect itself. But in this case, since it's the kind of the example or the sample room of how the first time you face Stalfos, then you're not gonna really get it. But yeah, here's our second key. Like I said, we're gonna get a bunch of these. I believe there's a fairy right here. I'm gonna drink the milk, except the problem is that there's 2 servings. So I'm just gonna do that. But yeah, I'll make mention of that locked door that I kept talking about. I really want to capture the fairy, but I kind of can't. I don't want to just waste my milk either. That's Bessie's milk. We can't just waste Bessie's milk. I don't think we ever looked at a blue bubble before.
Blue bubble, guard against his blue flames with your shield.
Usually with the blue bubble, if it hits you, you get jinxed, so you can't use your sword anymore. But it has to have the blue fire, because as you saw, it hit me right there and didn't really do anything. But yeah, there's a couple of things that I can't access as of yet. Like, obviously I can't go through there because, you know. And then there's the eye thing with the gated door. And the hook shot can't really hit through that, so we can't do anything about that. And of course, our slingshot we can't use. So, well, we're out of range anyway, but even if I was in range, you can't really hit it, so nothing happens when you hit it. And even though we got 2 keys already, I'd rather not go here yet. We'll just save this spot for later. But here's one of the locked doors. There's other places like, okay, that gated door right there, we don't really have to have the item to go past that, because you could go there anyway. Just trust me on that. So whenever you see a Door of Time block, you could always play the Song of Time to get rid of that block. I know I used the Song of Time to get rid of the block in the graveyard, so you guys should already know about that. But for those of you that click this video just to see how to easily take care of the Forest Temple, then there you go. I don't think I actually ever targeted this thing.
Big Deku Baba. Hit it when it lunges at you, it will stand upright. Cut it quickly to get a Deku stick.
Alright, so this thing, like, if you hit it like that, it'll give you more Deku Seeds than what you're used to, but if you were to hit it upright, you could get a Deku Stick. And I already know I talked to Octorok before, so There you go. So here's a well right over here. It's filled with water, so we actually have to go down there to enter that room that that actually is barred. So that's the way to really get past that. And here's something I didn't know actually. These spider skulltulas, because I can't really reach the one highest over there. Like even if I try to angle it right, it's just out of reach. Because that's as far as the controller could go. So you could still pass it. It's just that if you stay still, just like a T-Rex, it won't see you. Or if I could just pass it and not do that. Hang on, I want to show this. So if I climb it, it turns purple, but if you stand still, it'll go like, oh, it's nothing. That's pretty much how it works. It works like a T-Rex. I don't know why, but I didn't know this for a long time up until this year, believe it or not. I always just try to climb it when it's not looking. But I guess we're supposed to kill that blue bubble and get ourselves a treasure box. And in this treasure box, I believe it's not a small key, but it's one of the things, one of the 3 things that we definitely need for this temple. And we got ourselves the dungeon map. Alright, so that's one of the 3. Let's go enter through this door. At least I hope I get disoriented easily sometimes. So here's another room. Wait. Oh no, I did go backwards. See, that's what I'm talking about. I get disoriented so easily. I'm all like, that looks familiar. No, I'm supposed to go through here. Yeah. Alright, so... Oh, there's a Skulltula right there. It's not a gold Skulltula, so I have no interest in you. So basically, that's the target that the hook shots are definitely meant for, but no one ever... I don't know, it's not as common as you think. There's so many other hookshot options out there besides just that, but that's what the targets are meant for. And the switch lowers the water of the well, so now you could access it. This is actually the other side of it, so I kind of, you know, I mean, I meant the well, but you can still access here anyway. Through that door is the gated thing, so there's that. I always want to make that jump right there, but I can't. I never could. Yeah. No, so close. And I can see Bose right there. That's the Octorok. I'm gonna go over here. So here's another instance of a treasure box that we could hookshot onto. But the thing is, this one's a little bit tricky because if you try to get it a certain way and you get too much close to the edge, you just fall off. So here's the instance right here. So if you just angle it right, you could land on the land without ever worrying about it. So there's the stick option right there. Alright, so let's try to hook shot right. So what I tend to do is I try to go on the opposite end and try to hook shot on it that way. That way I don't just fall off. Because if I go the opposite way, chances are I'm not gonna, you know. Because if you go on the right side, you're just asking for it, you know. So that's just my recommendation. What do you want, Octorok? Jesus. I'm gonna throw a bomb at him. It's not gonna work though, unfortunately. Oh, whatever. The real prize wasn't the heart, but the actual prize was this gold Skulltula right here. I really want to kill that thing though. This Octorok that's trying to shoot at me. That's 3 out of 5, I believe. And I kind of, oh jeez, I want to go down the well. And there's only like one thing really that I want to get the well for, because I don't really care for going to the other side. Even though there's a ladder, I'm just going to jump. Oh yeah, this well, by the way, reminds me of Dark Souls. Because it's like, I mean, I got this, I only seen a little bit, never played it. But hopefully there's no rat towards the end, like a giant rat. But here's the treasure box right here. And I'm in the wrong side. In this treasure box, there is a good old small key, so now we got 3. we're on our way to being a janitor. So I'm walking back because, like I said, I don't really have a reason to go on the other side. The first room that I visited. So yeah, there's no need to do that there. So yeah, I'm just gonna go on my way back. You okay? Okay, okay. Alright, so now to show off about the barred door that I was talking about, I'm just gonna, yeah, so yeah, just pay attention to the door behind me, and there you go. So that's proof that you don't really need to get that eye done. There's just other options. There's 2 different directions you could go there without ever using the key. However, I'm still going to use the key regardless because this is an important room to enter through. Alright, now believe it or not, for this forest temple I did get stuck like twice when I was a kid. Both reasons very stupid, and one of them is upcoming right now. Now this room you'll remember a lot because, or at least I would. Pretty much. You enter through here, and it's not much of a puzzle. By the way, Navi talks a lot in this temple. She hasn't yet, but trust me, she's going to. She's going to. 3, 2, 1.
Listen! There are arrows painted on the floor!
Like that, I mean, Navi, I would have noticed that myself. You didn't have to point it out. Like, that's just one of the things. Just please shut up, Navi. Just for God's sakes. So basically, this block is the size of a whole hallway on these rooms right here, and all you have to do is just push the block where the arrows are pointed to onto the spot where the crescent is, and you just push it all the way. And really, the whole purpose of this is to climb this block to get to the next level, to the 2nd floor, pretty much. And yeah, and it will meet the crossroads, and that's kind of the trick right there. So, tell me if you notice something when I'm doing this, okay? Did you notice it? Let's do that one more time, okay? Did you notice it? One more time. One more time. Okay. If you didn't notice anything, that's okay. Younger ScarKnight forgives you. Anyway, this is where the crossroad meets, and like I said, since this block is the size of the hallway, then that's why you have to go to the other side. This is the easy one. The next one's the one where I got stuck on. Now, every time I pass that spot, if you did notice it, then good for you. Or unless you played this game and beat it. Here's another crossroads. But the thing is, and by the way, I never actually, I showed it off, but I didn't really look at it, and that's the spot where you have to go to. It makes it so it's climbable. But I don't really have to pull it this way. Really, you have to push it towards the other end, because I can't even pull it all the way if I wanted to. But clearly I have to push it from the other side. So how do I get to it? Now, the thing is, you already know that we climbed up here, so we don't really know of a way to, we haven't reached that side, so how the heck would we know, right? So, pretty much, what you have to do, and what I kept on doing, is going over here, is because this entire time I've been going back and forth and not noticed that there was a freaking ladder right here this entire time looking me dead in the face. I literally kept walking, and I had a camera in my certain angle, and there's like one frame, or I guess more than one frame, like when I was a kid I didn't notice this. I would run back and forth and it would be like a quick blip, it feels like a frame. But if I would have noticed that there was like an indent, I would have looked over here. I didn't know to look every square inch. It's not the first time this happened in games where I missed something so obvious and it made me feel stupid, and that legit got me stuck for pretty much months upon end. The second time I got stuck on this temple, not so bad. It actually took me the same day, probably like 1 or 2 hours it took me, or maybe less, I don't really remember. Here's another eye thing that I can't do anything about as of yet. Yeah, it makes me feel dumb. I hope I'm not the only one, but knowing my luck, I probably am the only one that's stupid enough to not figure that puzzle out. Either way, though, let's go and finish that little mini puzzle. If you could even call it a puzzle, I guess it kind of is. The first block, not really. This one, kind of. Yeah. Pretty stupid, I know, but I can't help it, man. It just, you can't escape stupidity. It just haunts you in the night, and that's just what it wants. It just wants to haunt you. Alright, so that's it for the toughest puzzle in young ScarKnight's life. This room right here, well, not yet. Well, this room upcoming is probably the most important room in this entire temple. Besides the fact that there's blue bubbles here. You can just ignore them if you can. They'll just straight up attack you regardless. Or not. Alright, that's fine. I don't care for you. I want to not target you! Oh, okay. Let's just use that key up. And you might have noticed that there's like a okay.
This corridor's all twisted.
You'd think I don't notice this. Oh my god. Shut up, Navi! Anyway, you might have noticed that there was an eye in the beginning that I didn't really acknowledge all that much. Pretty much, we can't do anything about that as of yet. And this...
Watch for the shadows of monsters that hang from the ceiling.
Navi, you have to learn when to speak. You can't just talk all the friggin' time. So what Navi's trying to say, there's like a floor master that's coming up. What I wanted to point out, because the room's all twisted, there's actually a blue and gold chest that's just on the side right here. And you know how I mentioned that there's gonna be a map and a compass, also a boss key in these temples? Well, no matter what, in these blue gold boxes, there will always be a boss key. So it's not really a spoilers thing, it's just, you know, there's more temples that we have to do. And that's just instance of them. So I got one more key to go to use, that is. And in this room we can't really do anything about this. So you'll notice that there's an empty portrait. And if you look down there, there's another empty portrait. Okay, good so far. We still can't do anything anyway. And if you look at that painting, those are one of the Post Sisters. I believe this one is called Joelle. There's the three other Post Sisters being blue, green, and purple. Blue being Beth, purple being Meg, and green being Amy. That's the one I always remember. I literally had to look this up to remember the names. Red doesn't look like Joelle though. But yeah, like I said, we can't do anything about that room. This guy could float in the air. I don't know why. Like, there's a big gap in there and he's just not affected by it. If I go there, I guarantee I'm falling through. So I don't understand why it just doesn't work for me. Oh jeez. Dang it, man. It's just sending me so tough when it comes to that. Ooh, see? I'm guarding and it... At least I got a fairy. That's why I'm fighting all recklessly. It's just, you know, or else I would be really guarding on my life here. So that's one of them. So you remember what I said about oh geez, there's two of them now. You remember what I said about, like, if you kill one and if you take too long, it could resurrect itself? This is an instant right here, so I'll definitely show that off. This one's actually fighting aggressively and there's a little bit of lag there. So I'll try to take a little bit of time, just so you guys can see that, pretty much. Hopefully I could do it on time. Oh, I didn't mean to kill it. Damn it. I didn't know that was that many hits. Okay, well, here's some footage of that happening, because I definitely captured that before. So I think he's about to revive any second now. I just want to show that off. Okay, he's taking too long. Could you hurry up? There you go. That's all I wanted to show. Now I have to kill me. Oh, lag! Yeah, pretty much. That's what it looks like. So this is the item that's very important for this temple right here. So if you open the treasure box, this is the specific item of the temple. Pretty much every every dungeon that we'll ever meet will have a special item. You found the fairy bow! Pretty much self-explanatory. It's a bow and arrow. You shoot with this thing. And yeah, this is very vital for this temple. Now we could go shoot on those eye things. And there's other enemies that could be shot through this. Just like this one right here. So we went back to the room where Joelle's in. At least I think so. I hope so. Yeah, there it is. So if you go close enough, it'll just disappear into the other two portraits. So I'm just gonna go right here. And I'm gonna shoot this. And if it goes behind me, it'll disappear. You might have heard a laugh just now. You're not gonna get away, Joelle. You are going down. You will not escape. Yeah, so now Joel's gonna go on the bottom floor. And
Joelle, what are the posters? Aim for her when she appears.
And there you go. Now we could go take her down. If she lets me. Easy way to go defeat her. If the closer you are and once you use her defense, when she does that weird twirl attack, or she's not going to do it at all, I guess. If you deflect it really close range, her attack cycle will end sooner. So just like that. I learned that through Majora's Mask. You know, since you have to beat them on a certain time limit. And obviously they could go through walls since they're a ghost. I'm gonna try to finish it off with the jump attack just in case he wants 2 more hits. Yeah! There you go. It might have been just 1 more hit anyway, but you know, that helps nonetheless. If you were to go through the other door, you would be running into a locked door that you could do nothing about. This is the reason why, because this one right here contains another key. Boosh! Said it too soon, but oh well. Well, there you go. Alright, so we have 3 more sisters to go, and wondering where are they. So we'll go continue onward.